And it almost looks as if when they were putting this bike together, they ran out of brake lever adjustments that matched the clutch lever, and just happened to find these others lying around, or maybe went to another bike and said, hey, let's put this on there. Hello everyone. As you can see, it is a great morning for a ride. Definitely taking advantage of the weather. Right now, 84 degrees. But it will be in the 90s later on this afternoon. So I thought I'd get in a ride this morning while it's a little bit cooler. Although I may ride again in the afternoon after lunch. But at least I got a nice cool one in. So today what I want to talk about is kind of a follow-up to a video I did late last year, and that was one called Tidbits. So as you can see, I am calling this one Tidbits 2, and I've picked up on a few other things since that video was made, so I thought I would share those with you. I did a video once on the side panels showing what was underneath each one of those side panels, and under the right side panel I mentioned that the fuse box is there. But actually there are two other fuse boxes. The main fuse is under the top cover, and it's located on the left side of the bike once you get underneath the top cover. And the fuse box 1 is actually underneath the seat. Now it's interesting that they actually call these fuse boxes because, as illustrated here, there are really only two fuses and a spare fuse, so not much of a fuse box, but nonetheless, so if you're doing any troubleshooting and trying to figure things out electrically, that's where you will find the three fuse boxes. Again, the main fuse underneath the top cover, and then you have fuses underneath the seat and fuses underneath the side panel. So moving on to the second topic, for those of you that like to carry things, strap things down, there's something in the owner's manual that's just in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden it just pops up to tell you where there are some strap holders, and they are actually a part of the passenger footrest. So as you can see by looking at the footrest, there's actually a little protrusion that comes out, and that would keep your strap from sliding off the end. And what you can't see, but underneath that footrest is a recessed area for the hook of your strap to go up in there. So you can just kind of feel around on the inside of that protrusion up underneath that footrest, and you'll find that there's room for your hook to go up in there. So that's pretty handy because most people expect something probably around the fender, which coincidentally on this fender underneath the passenger seat there are a couple of recessed areas on the plastic portion, which clearly a strap and a hook or whatever could go up inside of there. The only trouble with it is, depending on what type of hook or strap you're using, it could easily mar the surface. So you've got to be careful if you use that as a tie-down point. Or if you put something between your strap and the fender to protect it, then that would be an alternative as well. But nonetheless, there are two places on the bike designed exactly for that. So again, it was kind of strange how this was just located in the middle of nowhere in the owner's manual. But anyway, hopefully you find that useful if you didn't know those were there before. Alright, another thing, you've probably noticed this on your bike as you're cleaning it, maybe never wondered exactly what they were, but on the left side of the bike you will find that there are two rubber hoses dangling down, and both of these are actually for the fuel tank. So one is the breather hose, because the fuel tank needs to vent, because as the fuel is being pumped out, it needs displaced with air. Otherwise it would freeze up. You'd never be able to get it out of there and create a vacuum. And the other hose is the overflow hose. So if you happen to put too much fuel in your tank, or due to heat, thermal expansion, and the fuel starts to get too high in the tank, it will overflow and come out that drain. I'd actually seen fuel come out of mine once, and it was right after I filled the tank with gas and drove straight home, and it was a hot day, so being filled and coupled with heat expansion, there was a little bit of fuel dripping out of there, but it's no big deal. Alright, I've saved the best for last, because this one is very bizarre, and I'm hoping you guys can help me out with this one. For those of you that own the bike, you probably are already well aware that the adjustments for both the clutch lever and the brake lever are different. And I am not sure exactly why that would be. I'm used to both of the adjustments looking exactly the same for all the bikes that I've ever ridden and have owned. There were no differences. So this one I can't figure out why they are different, and in fact most of the ones that I'm used to look very similar to the one on the clutch lever, as opposed to whatever this is supposed to be on the brake lever. But they are very different, and it almost looks as if when they were putting this bike together, they ran out of brake lever adjustments that matched the clutch lever, and just happened to find these others lying around, or maybe went to another bike and said, hey, let's put this on there. That'll look cool. That'll look different. It'll especially help out those guys that want to change their levers anyway, because they want to make it look different. Hey, we'll make that modification for them. I don't know. But anyway, I can't figure out why the two are different. If anyone has any insight as to why these levers are different, please feel free to share. Also chime in if you know of other Yamaha bikes that have a similar setup, or any other bikes for that matter. But I've never seen any other manufacturer do anything like this, so I can't state whether or not it's something unique to Yamaha or not. There's Interstate 65 heading towards Montgomery. So anyway, that's all I have for Tidbits number 2. Like I mentioned about a year ago when I put that one together, if I found other things, I would probably put together another Tidbits. So, same thing moving forward. If I find anything else, there could be a Tidbits 3. But hopefully this provided some information for you that maybe you didn't know, particularly those of you that are interested in maybe buying a VMAX. And maybe there's some things maybe you learned today, even if you own a VMAX. Either way, if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. See you next time.